Hello and welcome to the Greatest Tamil Science channel. I'm your host Vishakha and we are continuing our conversation with Dr. C.K. Nandagopalan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vishakha. A warm welcome to the program back again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we are on this journey of self-discovery. We are hoping that you can appreciate and understand your body better. All of our videos and all of the information that Sir gives, I wouldn't call it information, but the deep knowledge that he imparts on us is to help you understand and appreciate your body better so that you can take better care of it. This is the only single machine that's going to be there since from the day we're born until the day we die. And then I think it's our responsibility that we take good care of it until the last breath. Okay. So, we're continuing our session on the brain, and today we come to a very key aspect, that's memory. So, sir, before we dwell deeper into it, if you can just give us a short definition, what is memory?
I think last of the program, I think we started with the anatomy of the brain
Yes.
a little, and then we have gone into the concept of learning and education,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So now we are coming to the memory part of it,
Yeah.
memory part of the
Which
brain.
plays a very key role in learning and education as well.
Yeah. There's one area of study in psychology, it's called physiological psychology. It's a very interesting area of study. There was enough of it when we have studied this branch of study between 1976 to 81. But now, after 40 years, they have done a lot of research and added many things to it. And then, so again and again, you go on dividing things. So when you come to the question of memory, the word memory came into the existence in 14th century, 1300 plus. It's an Anglo-French word. Memory means, simply you can call it as remembrance.
Remembrance.
Yeah. So why we did concept of learning and concept of education is, it is directly connected to your memory
Right.
in the end. So memory leads to another word called forget.
Yeah.
Okay. So memory means, remembrance, the storage. So as we spoke previously, the cortex of the brain is
Right.
one of the largest in the human brain compared to all the other living species. Actually, there is no point in comparing the human brain with the other animals and other things. So it's nature is very versatile in its creation. It knows what to give to whom. Okay. So the brain is a very funny machine. So you would have seen the shape of the brain.
Right.
It's designed in such a way to accommodate inside the skull. So the brain always evolves over millions of years. Humankind is millions and millions and millions of years old, which we cannot understand by going to the previous history. You cannot say that we are 3,000 years old, 10,000 years old and all that. The important part of this human brain or any other brain in this earth or belongs to any species, it has its own embedded information. I wish you understand this. As the child was born, as it grows, whatever it come across, which you call it as an experience, which is constantly recorded in the brain. So brain is a machine which keeps on recording.
Yeah, you had told us this, that every single thing it comes across, every sense, every experience is recorded.
It records. So the physiological part of the brain, which is analyzed by the modern science, maybe whatever branch of study, is, they divide the cortex into four. The cortex is a very complicated, a 6-layer, 2 mm thickness sheet. If you expand it, it will come by 2 feet by 2 feet. It's you know, folded up and kept. Yeah. So it's divided into 4. You know, it's called the frontal lobe.
Right.
You must have heard this: temporal lobe,
Yes.
parietal lobe, and occipital lobe. So there is a study called a lesion in the brain. Lesion means damage. So they try to damage a particular part of the brain and see what are the
See the
functions are
effect.
getting damaged. So this is one of the technique which we use to study which part of the brain control what. We try to maximum understand the human beings, always with the tool of modern science. We try to go closer and closer and try to understand how each organ works. The brain is a very complicated stuff. So when we make lesion in the brain, so we try to, okay, the speech is lost. Okay, this is the speech center. But along with the speech, there are so many other actions are also getting disturbed or reduced. So with which you can understand that the brain is interconnected. The whole machine by itself with 86 billion neurons is interconnected. If you want to divide it and see as medulla oblongata and this, that and whatnot, cerebrum, cortex, thalamus, hypothalamus, you know, this region, that region, you know, dividing the, again, cortex into 4 and say which part of the cortex is responsible for memory, language, thinking, intelligence, remembrance, recall, whatever. It keeps on going on the language power, the sensory organ, the process of sensory organ, information coming into the brain. As you go, that brain handles millions of data every seconds. So memory is a part of the brain, but again, it is very, very, very difficult for you to understand as your body is filled up with water molecules to the tune of 70%, the brain is also holding 70% of its structure as water molecules. This is amazing for you, right?
Yeah.
So where exactly the memory lies?
Yeah, that was my next question. So where exactly is there some space like a storage, the way in a computer you have a chip or the storage device, is there a specific place where the memory is stored, or is the brain only an interface to the memory?
No, they again, you know, divide the brain into these many things like the midbrain, the hindbrain, you know, all kinds of things.
Left brain, right brain.
Yeah, the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, all kinds of things. But these are all we are trying to, you know, understand the organ as close as possible, you know, how nature is created this. And one thing that what one has to understand is nature is always immeasurable, and science on the other hand is measurement. So with measurement, is it possible to read the immeasurable? But we work hard to do it. Actually, with a tool called science, we try to understand the facts of nature. Now here we are talking about the human brain and its connection to the memory part of the human brain. So where exactly this memory lies in the brain is either the limbic system or every cells hold the memory. First of all, the brain has its own memory, what work it has to do. You understand this?
Yeah.
Every cell has its own embedded system of memory with which the cell knows what work it has to do. So what happens when the whole human system is functioned with degeneration and regeneration? Every cell has its own lifetime, and then the cell dies, a new cell come and take over. So this is dying of the cell is degeneration, manufacturing of new cells is the regeneration. And the same happens to the brain also. So when the degeneration and regeneration is matched, we are in the middle age, when the degeneration and the regeneration is having difference, the degeneration is more and the regeneration is less, then our organs tend to shrink. That's why after the age of 65, your brain gets reduced by 100 to 120 grams from its original weight of 1400 grams. That definitely will make the brain to slow down on many things. It still functions very well. You can keep it very healthy if you want to. We will not go into that area, but the brain by itself, every new cell born throughout and replacing the dead cells has its own memory, right?
Yeah.
If it is an hypothalamus cell, it has its own memory. Then only it will know how to go, where to go, to which tribe I belong to. I am a hypothalamus cell guy. I should go and fix myself to hypothalamus. And then I do the work. As we discussed thyroid, the hypothalamus produces TRH. So I should know how to produce TRH. I should know how to produce within my nuclei to produce so many things and give it to the pituitary. So that is the memory of the brain, that each and every cell has its own memory for it to do what function it has to do.
Right.
This is very clear.
This is, yeah.
Now we have come to the memory what you talk about as memory. What we collect from our experiences.
Correct, yes.
So one of your experience is learning. The concept of education leads what? It leads to learning.
Learning, right.
Right. So as we learn, we try to store them. So if that learning and education, or education leading to learning, if it is meaningful, then your memory becomes very strong. For example, if you have the thirst to learn swimming at the age of 6 or 7, you learn swimming within a time duration of 2 months or 3 months or 6 months with a trainer. For the rest of your life, you remember that. As I told you that, after learning swimming at the age of 6 till the age of 56, for 50 years you have not seen water at all. Yeah. At the age of 57, when you are thrown in the water, you will swim.
You'll swim.
You learn a bicycle at the age of 5 and you have not seen a bicycle for 70 years. At the age of 75, they give you a bicycle. If you are healthy enough, you will ride. So that is also a memory, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that memory stays. It is again embedded in the brain? No. It is embedded in the brain and it is embedded in all parts of your system. The entire body is a memory bank.
Yes.
It knows everything. Okay? It is not that neurons have their own memory to what to function. Neurons know how to collect memory and keep it. Okay? And other parts of the cells also has memory of their own and also other what you have experienced. Okay? If you have burnt here and it has a burn injury in your hand and that area is healed, the whole body knows, not only the brain, that I am to be very careful with the fire next time. You think it's only the action of brain?
No.
No. It is that memory, what you have learnt, experienced. It lies with all the cells in your body.
So when you say it lies with, so it is stored in every cell or it's accessible to every cell, the memory?
It is stored.
Okay.
They remember. The cells, they remember. Now, this area of skin cells have degenerated because this fire burn happened at the age of 13. Now you are 33. Now, what all the guys out here are new. Right? But they remember.
But the memory is still there.
Yeah. Because when they come and join the network, the other cells tell them, Baba, these are all the information for you.
Okay.
There is something called intracellular communication inside the system. This intracellular communication is been seen. Magnesium is a very important component for this. You know, brain is another complex structure which works with lot of biochemicals produced in the brain within the structure, which will be very difficult for the modern science to study. They are working hard, because when a particular reaction takes place, there is a chemical which is born, or a chemical which is born for a particular reaction. It's interdependent, and then they disappear within no time.
Okay. So what decides memory powers? There are some people who can, so probably all of us capture the same information, store the same information, but retrieval seems different based person to person.
There are two aspects decides the memory power. The science of astrology is the branch of astronomy. It's a full-blooded science. That is what now is being studied in the last 20 years under the brand name of, sorry to say it's a brand name, but I would still like to say a brand name of epigenetics. Epigenetics, they try to understand how the cells are getting command from the environment around you. In astrological science, there are two guys who decides your memory power. One is Mercury, the planet Mercury.
Mercury, okay.
The other one is Jupiter, Guru. Savalakala Vidyagar Guru, Vidyadharagan Buddhan. Those who have the planet Mercury very strong in its position in their horoscope, they study very well.
Okay.
Because Vidyadharagan is, gives you everything, makes you very strong. Memory is not the same in you and same in me.
Right.
Right? My memory is very strong. I can even go and write a psychology exam today if you give me a question paper. Today, if you give me a question paper on physiological psychology, I will still score 60 marks. If you give me now, I will write what I have studied in 1978. So that means whatever little I have studied, I have involved myself and studied meaningfully.
Right.
If there is involvement and a dedication and there is some kind of a meaningful learning, then your memory stays forever.
Much stronger. Yes, what are the recommendations of ancient Tamil science to strengthen the memory or improve the memory? So
when we are going to discuss about the long-term and short-term memory in the next program, I'm going to tell you where the memory exactly gets stored.
Sure.
Okay. So if you see the ancient Tamil science, they are so brilliant people they are. You know, they understand the nature's essence which handles the brain. Okay. They must have really understood the anatomy and the physiology and the human chemistry part of the human brain. Why I am telling you this is there is a tree called Valuluvai. If you make medicine out of it, you can keep your memory intact. Strength of your memory is decided by the planetary effects I am telling you today.
Right.
That cannot be changed. But whatever memory that you have, this particular tree is found in hill stations. They are not found in Himalayas and that Himachal Pradesh and those areas also. See, the lamas, the Buddhists, the Tibetans, they take the seed of this tree and make an oil out of it. They take a few drops and put it here on the top of the head every day. Even if you are going to live at the age of 120, your memory is going to be as what it was in the age of 40.
What is the tree again, sir?
Valuluvai.
Valuluvai. Okay.
I'll send you the English name in the mail.
Sure.
I have the medicine, I can give it to you. If you want to keep your memory, keep going.
I would.
Don't worry.
I would.
There is another plant. In Tamil, it's called Brahmi.
Brahmi. Huh.
You must have heard this.
Very, yeah, it's pretty common.
If you know how to make medicine out of Brahmi, you can keep your memory good, irrespective of your age factor. Of course, if there is a classroom where 50 children are studying, somebody is only capable of scoring 50 to 60 marks. Okay, you are not going to make him brilliant with his Brahmi to come a first rank guy. Because his Mercury and Guru has to be strong in the horoscope. But with these two medicines, you know, at the age of 70, 80, 90 and all, people tend to slip their memory. You call your Alzheimer's and all those stuff, loss of memory and all that. That can be avoided. That has been closely studied by people like Russell Blaylock and all that. There are many protein components which are not getting processed. They, you know, form, they come out of the cells and then, you know, they get stuck in between the cells. They show you those pictures. In those cases, the data are not getting properly transmitted to other cells because of this blockage of, you know, faulty proteins lying all over the brain.
Right.
You know, they see that anatomically, they see that in an Alzheimer patient what happens, but they are not in a position to do. But what these medicines, what I talked to, two medicines will make sure that these kind of things do not happen in the structure of the brain, and your memory is held very good because of the data processing is going to be absolutely intact irrespective of your age factor.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
So we conclude this first part on memory. In our next video, we're going to look at the concepts of short-term and long-term memory. And of course, there's a question that Sir said he will answer in our next video, that is about where is the memory actually stored. So thank you so much for being with us and look forward to having you on the next episode. Thank you.